Hello and welcome to this video. In this video we're looking at what kind of calculator you should buy if you're just starting out and you're taking a math class. It's maybe been a while you don't have a calculator, so there's lots of choices out there. We want to just try to address some of the issues you might run into when you're going to the store to buy a calculator. Your main choice when you buy a calculator, other than price, is the type of calculator. Specifically, is it a DAL calculator or not, or is it a graphing calculator? We'll make some suggestions for you as we go. DAL calculators, and there's one pictured here. You can actually see on the picture here, it's maybe a little hard to see because it's in white on an almost white background, but it says DAL right on the calculator. DAL stands for Direct Algebraic Logic. And what that means is your calculator will display what you're typing in to calculate as you type it in. And then some of them, like this one pictured here, display what you typed in on one line, and then on a second line display the answer to what you typed in. Okay. In a more simple level, if you type in 1 plus 2, it'll either show 1 plus 2, and then when you press enter or equals, that will disappear and show you the answer of 3, or like the calculator on the left, you'll type in 1 plus 2, it'll stay on the screen when you press equals and show you the answer below, which is 3. DAL calculators tend to be more popular with students because of the fact that you can see what you typed in. If you get a wrong answer when you're checking your answer key, or you think you might have got a wrong answer, it's fairly easy to go back and check what you typed in to see if you maybe made a mistake in entering data into your calculator. The drawback of a DAL calculator is they can be a little bit more pricey than non-DAL calculators. They tend to run from about $10 and up. I would make the suggestion that if you're in the market for a calculator, that you don't spend more than about $30. After you do that, you're buying calculators that are so advanced you're not going to use most of their functions anyway. So a good DAL calculator should run you anywhere from $10 to $30. Sharp is one of the leading makers of a DAL calculator. I believe they are the company that trademarked DAL for Direct Algebraic Logic. And so you could look for a Sharp calculator somewhere in this price range. If you're not sure if it's DAL or not when you buy it, don't take it out of the package and bring it to your teacher. They can tell you almost immediately if it's a DAL calculator or not before you take it out of the package. And if you want one and it's not, you can return the package and find one that is. Your other choice are non-DAL calculators. There's nothing wrong with a non-DAL calculator, it just works a little differently than a DAL calculator. If you type in 1 plus 2, what happens is you type in the 1, you'll see the 1 on the screen, and then when you type in the plus, nothing will happen. You'll still see a 1 on the screen. And then when you type the 2 for the second half of 1 plus 2, the 1 will disappear and you'll see the 2 sitting on the screen, and that will sit there until you press equals, at which time the 2 will disappear and you will see the 3 on the screen. You can see on this little demonstration calculator I've got on the side here, it's displaying only an answer. You can't see what was typed in to arrive at that answer. Older calculators tend to be non-DAL calculators. If it's been quite a few years since you've done math and you still have your old calculator, chances are it's going to be a non-DAL calculator. There's nothing wrong with that. They just work a little bit differently than DAL calculators. You can get a non-DAL calculator for as little as about $2 from some of the bargain shops and dollar stores out there. High end for a non-DAL calculator is about $15 to $20. I wouldn't, again, spend more than that, especially on a non-DAL calculator. I would recommend, however, spending more than the $2 on the calculator you get from the dollar store. Regardless of whether you're choosing DAL or non-DAL, you have to make sure if you're taking high school math that you've selected a scientific calculator. And how you know the calculator is scientific, one of the ways you can tell is if it has buttons on it that says sine, cos, and tan. Okay, that's pretty much a dead giveaway that it's a scientific calculator. Scientific calculators basically have more than just the number keys and plus, minus, times, divide. If you dig into your junk drawer at home and you find an old calculator that just has the numbers and plus, minus, times, divide, that'll be fine for part of your course, but there are parts of the course that are going to require the more advanced functions you see on the top of the calculator. So again, whether you go non-DAL or DAL, make sure you see those sine, cos, and tan buttons. That's a scientific calculator. Again, if you're not sure when you purchase the calculator if it's scientific, leave it in its package and bring it to your teacher, and they can give you some advice and feedback about the calculator. And if you don't like it or it's not the right kind of calculator, you can just easily return it to the store. The last kind of calculator that's an option for people is a graphing calculator. In this video, we're specifically referring to a Texas Instruments TI-84 Plus graphing calculator. This is the calculator that is used in two courses at high school, Applied Math 30S and Applied Math 40S. You will need one of these calculators if you're taking Applied Math. However, they're very expensive. They run about $130 if you can't find it on sale. The good news is our school, Winnipeg Adult Education Center, has class sets of these to lend to you when you're in class to use to work on the material you're working on in class. The only reason you'd buy one of these yourself is if you really wanted to be able to work at home on a calculator, because our lending calculators are not able to be taken home. That being said, there are some other options so that you can use a calculator at home. There is an emulator for Android phones that's available. That works fine. There's a PC emulator that you can pick up from your teacher. Okay, and we are pretty soon going to be experimenting with a bit of a lending library for calculators. So if you desperately need one for one night, you can sign your life away and take one home for an evening. This price tag I would only spend to buy one of these calculators if you have money burning a hole in your pocket and you think you're going to use the calculator later on past your high school career. If you're going to go into some mathematically related field like engineering or electronics or anything like that after you finish high school. Also, if you buy one, bear in mind that when you're done Applied 30 and 40 and you change your mind and you don't want to go into any math-related thing, you could try to sell it to upcoming students and recoup some of this cost. You could sell it at a used calculator price. But again, if you're taking essential math or even pre-calculus math, this calculator is too much calculator for most people. We only scratch the surface of the functions that we need on there. It's not typically worth the money. Okay, so in conclusion, don't pay more than about 20 or 30 bucks max on a calculator unless you're planning to do math after high school. Then you might want a more expensive calculator. They tend to have nicer buttons and nicer screens. Generally, students prefer DAL calculators. They are a little more expensive, but you might want to spend those extra few dollars just to make your life a little bit easier when you're in math class. And the graphing calculator, unless you really think you need one, is going to be just a bit of a waste of money. So I wouldn't look at buying one of those yourself. I hope this helps you when you're making your decision on which calculator to buy. Again, if you have any other questions, feel free to talk to your teacher. They can give you some more advice.